It is December the 20th, 1941. In the skies over Kunming, China, the American volunteer group takes to the air in their P-40 fighters. They will forever be known as the Flying Tigers.
History's strange, it's alien, and it won't give us what we would like to have.
When people think of the Flying Tigers, they picture teeth painted on a P-40 and American pilots chasing Japanese fighters across the sky. That image is not wrong, but it is incomplete. The Flying Tigers were not just a band of daredevils. They were the sharp edge of a calculated, covert strategy at a moment when the war in Asia was on the brink of collapse. By 1941, China was bleeding out. After 4 years of brutal war, its air force was nearly destroyed. Japan controlled the coast, bombed at will, and threatened the Burma Road, the last lifeline keeping China in the fight. The United States was officially neutral, bound by law to stay out. On paper, China was finished. The response came quietly. In April 1941, President Roosevelt authorized an unpublicized workaround. American pilots resigned their commissions and signed on with a civilian front company, Camco. They were well paid, well armed, and sent overseas with Curtiss P-40 fighters diverted from other contracts. Officially, they were mercenaries. In reality, they were a proxy force created to keep China alive without triggering war. The P-40 was not a perfect fighter. It could not climb or turn like its Japanese opponents. Claire Chennault understood that, so he rewrote the rules. He trained his pilots to fight defensively, diving from altitude, striking once, and breaking away. On the ground, a vast early warning system of observers and radios, called the Spider Net, gave them precious minutes to prepare. Inferior hardware was matched with superior doctrine. The test came on the 20th of December 1941. 10 Japanese bombers approached Kunming, unaware the Flying Tigers were waiting. The AVG struck from above, shot down several bombers, and drove the rest away without losing a single aircraft. It was the first confirmed Allied victory in the Pacific after Pearl Harbor, and it sent a powerful message that Japan was not invincible. Soon the fight shifted south to Burma. Defending Rangoon meant defending the Burma Road itself. Outnumbered Allied fighters met wave after wave of Japanese raids. The losses inflicted were severe, but the strain was relentless. When Rangoon fell in 1942, the road was lost, and supply had to shift to the dangerous airlift over the Himalayas, known as the Hump. In May 1942, Japanese ground forces advanced toward the Salween River. If they crossed, China would be exposed. Flying Tigers pilots, now flying P-42s equipped for ground attack, struck the trapped columns for days. Bombing, strafing, and destruction in the gorge halted the advance. Air power stopped an army. The greatest threat to the Flying Tigers did not come from Japan. It came from internal conflict. Chennault clashed with General Stilwell over strategy. Bureaucratic pressure and poor handling followed as the U.S. Army moved to absorb the unit. On the 4th of July, 1942, the AVG was disbanded. Most of its men walked away. In just over 6 months, the Flying Tigers destroyed nearly 300 enemy aircraft, while losing only 14 in combat. The numbers are extraordinary, but the impact was greater still. China stayed in the war. The shark's grin endures because it represents more than courage. It represents risk, innovation, and the truth that sometimes a small force, used wisely, can change the course of history.
Check out more stories from history at davedoeshistory.org.